Hello and welcome to the Penno channel. I'm joined here with my bro and the man himself, TJ. Hasn't been on here since the Luton game, Luton away, which was, yeah, a while ago now. I think around that time we were kind of fretting about Champions League. The week after we lost to Spurs 4-0, doom and gloom. But yeah, we managed to get Champions League in the end. So TJ, man, thanks for joining.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me.
And bro, how you doing as well? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, bro, man. This podcast has been overdue. Like, we haven't spoke about Villa together in a minute, so looking forward to getting into it, man, because a lot's happened. Bro.
A lot's happened just from the season ending. Literally, there's been so much going on. And we're just going to have a little overview, talk about arrivals, talk about potential arrivals as well, outgoings, potential outgoings, and then just an overview of our thoughts going into next season. What do you think Villa should be looking to achieve and where we can go from there? So yeah, we'll get started, man. We'll start with arrivals. Yeah, both of you. What have your thoughts been about who's come in? We've had Ross Barkley, we've had Enzo Barrenechea, we've had Samuel Iling Jr., Louis Dobbin, and then also we have had Ian Matson. So yeah, what are your thoughts, guys?
I think it's been like a good incoming for the window. I think if you just like look in the column for incomings on like transfer marks and you kind of look at what Villa have brought in as a team that's just got into the Champions League, I probably think we've done pretty well to get players like Matson. Obviously got to a UCL final with Dortmund, was probably like, if there was like a half player of the season, he'd probably be their half player of the season for last season as well. And then Enzo Barrenechea, I'll be honest, I'd heard his name in like passing, never watched him play. If you asked me what team he played for, I'd guess between like Frosinone and like Salernitana. I didn't know who he was. Obviously watched his comp. Looks like a decent player. Yeah, looks like a decent player. He kind of just like strikes me as like a bit of a taller Luiz, and kind of like just the way he kind of glides around the pitch. And then he's also got like a bit of a bite to him, like a proper CDM. And then who else we brought in? Lewis Dobbin. Again, I think I like saw Dobbin play for like a combined total of like 7 minutes over his time at Everton. Don't know much about him, but obviously like Everton fans seemed excited about him. And then Samuel Iling Jr. Again, I just I'd never probably sat down and like watched Juve like last season. Whenever I watched Serie A, like I'd be tending to watch like the lower teams. So yeah, when I've like seen Juve, I think he's looked all right. But obviously, like you look at his comp as well, left wing back, is he like a right winger? I think it's good. So I think if you look at like the column for incomings, I'd be excited. But obviously, there's another column which I'm still a bit iffy on.
Yeah, but what have your thoughts been so far with the window and how it's gone?
Yeah, I think it's good to start with Barkley, because the last podcast we all did together, there was a whole segment dedicated to how Ross Barkley's been this season.
Yes, there was.
So the fact that we've accidentally manifested that, I can't even really complain about that deal. I like the Barkley deal, man. I would have preferred the deal to be maybe 2-year contract, but I get why it's a 3-year, so they can split the fee longer. I think he'll come in, he'll be receiving the ball from deep. Emery will probably love his turning circle, his ability to like evade pressure and pass a ball. So I could see Ross Barkley doing well in our system. Enzo Barrenechea, now that one, what makes me so happy about that one is it's not Weston McKennie.
Yeah,
that's probably where the love from Enzo is coming more from. Obviously, he's a really good player, talented. I think Villa fans are going to need to be patient with him. He's not going to come to the Premier League, even though he's 23. His actual football played is more of like an 18-year-old. Like, he hasn't played a lot of football. He had an ACL injury in 2021. We're going to have to be patient, man. And I know sometimes our fans aren't the most patient. Like, we want to see the talent like develop straight away and be as good. But I think he'll take a bit of time to settle. Iling Jr., now this one's an interesting one, because I wanted this guy when we sold Philogene. I thought that was the most natural replacement. I can see this guy coming on for Bailey from the right, because he's left-footed, and just being that guy where if we're soaking up pressure and we're like 1-2-0 up, just play that ball. McGinn's going to loft that ball to him, and he's going to run in behind, and he's going to eat up so much space, and he's just going to be our outlet. So I really like that signing as well. Young, time to develop. Emery would improve him. And then Dobbin's, I don't know, Dobbin's an interesting one. Like, I think that was just a pure FFP move. No, I think that's just, maybe there'll be something there. His clips against Villa were good, but I don't know. I'll probably send him on loan for one season, see how he does on loan, and then come back. But yeah, I like the signings, man. I like the fact that we're stacking talent. Like, we're stacking young players with potential. So it's better than signing like 29-year-old, 30-year-olds that are just on the decline.
Yeah, apart from Ross Barkley, we've gone in the mould of Morgan Rogers and how we scouted him, and we signed him a younger player for Unai Emery to develop, and Ian Matson's 22.
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention Matson. Sorry. How long on this pod, bro, have we been screaming that we need a left back? It's the most crucial position in the system. When the ball gets played out to the left, there's so much space and yards created for the left back to bomb forward and get into the box. And Matson's the perfect player for this, man. Literally, my first or second choice was Matson, so I'm really happy with that one.
Yeah, Maxon, he can take our game to a whole other level, defensively and offensively as well. Just with the spaces he occupies, he can play out wide, he can stretch the pitch as well as coming inside as well. He's just as comfortable doing both. So, yeah, Matson's a quality signing for me. Just going to get into a few people that have joined, and also starting message if you could like the stream, and also subscribe if you're new around here. That'd be much appreciated. Darren's joined. He said, good evening. Thanks for joining, Darren. So is Michael. Thanks for joining, Michael. Deontay's joined as well. He says, greetings, everyone. Thanks for joining. Michael said, gutted to see some good players go, and they have our best wishes, but I think our incomings have been good. But no one is talking about the players, but talking about the kit. Yes, people are gassed about the kit. And Deontay saying, I'm really excited to see Ian Matson and Enzo Barrenechea play for Villa, 2 quality signings. Yeah, facts. I do like the business we've done so far, considering we had to be compliant with PSR. And the way we've moved around, Munchie's looked in doing those player swap deals. But yeah, a big player has left within that, and it's Douglas Luiz. Guys, how are we feeling about that? And are we understanding of the position we're in? Could there have been other players that could have gone within that, or was it the right time to get rid of Dougie Luiz?
Bro, I'll be so real. As soon as you said like the M words, I actually started burning up a tiny bit. Bro, this Douglas Luiz signing, yeah. I actually haven't done a pod since we've like sold Douglas Luiz in it.
This is the exclusive.
This is the first time I'm talking about the Douglas Luiz like sale. Do you know what it is? Yeah, I'll try to be positive first. Obviously, we had PSR issues, FFP, whatever you want to call it, financial fair play. Obviously, Villa have probably looked at their books towards the end of the season, once all the sponsorship money's come in, once a couple payments have dropped, whatever, and they've gone, okay, cool. We don't think we're going to make the threshold to, be able to go on this 3-year period. Obviously, for those a lot of Villa fans know, because a lot of Villa fans have just been like, we've had to just like research finances, and I feel like this summer I've just turned into an accountant. But obviously, like, we lost like 116 mil last year. It's like 90 mil towards FFP. We could only lose 105 million over 3 seasons. So I think doing like the calculations, Swiss Ramble said that Villa needed to not lose more than like 36 mil. Obviously, then you look at Douglas Luiz being sold for 42 mil, and Swiss Ramble have probably got like the right idea around, the cost and stuff like that. So we might not have actually needed to sell Douglas Luiz to like get a points deduction, but maybe it's just allowed us to go back into the market freely with a budget that Emery can work with. Because obviously Emery's, he's the manager. He's probably saying to the board, look, I don't care how it's done. Like, I'm going to need money to like improve the team, innit?
Yeah.
But then you look at the deal itself, and you look at the deals that have been done since that deal's been done. And as a Villa fan, like, I'm trying really, really, really hard to not feel like we've been shagged. Like,
when you see an Archie Gray going for close to 40 million.
40 million for Archie Gray. Like, they were playing this guy as a fullback.
Yeah.
He weren't even like a CDM. And Tottenham have gone, do you know what, that CDM, like, we'll pay 40 for him. And then you see Elliot Anderson, who, like, for my FIFA players, has just been a 72 on FIFA for like 4 years now. You know what I mean? Like, he's
the Newcastle wonder kid. They always say,
he's not breaking the till quite yet. Like, and he's gone for 35 to Forest. Obviously, Vlachodimos has gone in the other direction, but FFP in it. And then you're seeing players like Thuram. Obviously, he's gone for a bit lower, but I think he's like, his deal's about to end or something. So then I think Juve have got a deal. And like, I try and like not think that we've been shagged, but I think this deal is only going to go one of 2 ways, because one thing that no Villa fan can like ignore is that we can't judge this deal right now. It's not like signing like a 27, 28-year-old player. We've gotten 2 very raw like prospects in return for Douglas Luiz deal. So every Villa fan needs to understand that this is a risk. Like, it's a massive risk, because if those two don't hit on, then we look back at this deal like we sold Douglas Luiz for 42 million, and we got these two that didn't actually catch on. However, if Enzo reaches the ceiling that I think he can reach, just based on what I've watched, if Iling Jr. can do the same thing, then I think in 3 years we look back on this deal, depending on what Dougie's gone on to do, which we know he's good at it, but I don't think he's going to enter like Kroos or Modric like level talent anytime soon. But if we could look back on it being like, we got these two hot prospects that are now two of the Premier League's best players, and we saw Douglas Luiz, and we got 42 million. But right now, just using just straight critical thinking, 42 million for Douglas Luiz, it's like it does stink. It stinks.
It's painful. It's painful, especially when you know that we've developed him for 5 years. We signed him for 15 million without him kicking a ball in England yet. So he already came with that fee as well. I never had an issue with selling Douglas Luiz. I actually encourage that kind of thing. You develop a talent, and then you sell your best player at their peak value. Well, peak value I thought we were going to get at the time. And then you move on, and then you buy someone else. That's how you're sustainable. My problem just comes with the actual price that we're getting itself. I just feel like even with PSR pressure, negotiate more money coming back. Like, it just feels like Munchie's gone then. He knows he's in a rush. And Villa have known for time that we'd need a big sale this window. So they've had time to prepare. And it just feels rushed. It just feels rushed. Like, it changed from McKennie. Like, they hadn't agreed with McKennie yet. He says, no, he doesn't want to leave. Let me get Enzo. I don't know. I'm just gutted. If you told a Villa fan, well, this is how I've been framing it. If a Blue Nose told you last year you get 42 million for Dougie, you take the piss out of him. You just be like, why are you trying to wind me up? Like, you know what I mean? And now it's happened. People are kind of, I don't know, doing coping by it. I don't think it's a good deal, personally.
A few scenarios. So firstly, was a reduced fee so that basically, because we've signed two players from Juventus, some would say potentially a reduced fee in the grand scheme of things. So if it turns out 50 million euros, we signed Iling Jr. and Barrenechea for 22 million euros. So potentially they undervalued their talent as well within that. Secondly, the contract situation. Supposedly there was a contract on the table for Dougie. He wasn't willing to sign it. Was this the point at where he was at his peak value? If he had 2 years left, and in January, if there was no ability to sell him either, he'd be going down to 1 year next summer. And would that have been a reduced fee? And they've just thought this is the peak fee where you can get to him. Now, obviously with PSR involved as well, there might have been clubs looking at him, but were willing to wait for the whole summer. And at this point, they just decided that Dougie was the option they were going to use to balance the books in that sense.
I think there's variables to it. Like, there could have been like a deal on the table for Dougie. I think obviously if that's the best deal that we can get at a time, that's fair enough. But the way that I look at it is, I don't know much about sporting directors, in it. Like, I'm literally an armchair gaffer, right? Nice little plug. But if the way I think is, the better your sporting director, the better he's going to be in negotiations. And obviously we don't know, like, I'll say this like flat out. As Villa fans, we probably know about 30-40% of what's actually going on in the club. But at the end of the day, the club are the ones that are in charge of the way that we receive the information that we do from Villa. So we can only judge that. Based on the way that I've judged Villa over the past year since Monchi's been here, it feels like there's been a lot of short-term decisions made and like a lot of risky ones. Like Zaniolo, for example. I think any Villa fan that like just knew that Zaniolo had 2 ACLs and he was playing at Galatasaray and he didn't really light it up at Galatasaray would have said that's a bit of a risk. Obviously, Morgan Rogers, they've hit out on Morgan Rogers. That was a risk, but it was a good risk, innit? But it's come back. And then you look at Moussa Diaby, again, another risk, but I think all of us can see that he's got like a lot of potential, but it's still a risk. And then you get this Dougie deal where it's Iling Jr. and Barrenechea. And you ask yourself, is this a risk worth taking? And could he, because I've heard that, you know, Villa might have had offers on the table from the Premier League, and obviously reports are coming out, Dougie's saying he didn't want to play in the Premier League. I don't believe that. I think if Man City came in for Dougie, he would have left tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I think a better sporting director probably negotiates a better fee. I might be wrong in it, but in my opinion, just looking at like Monchi's kind of like last 7 years as a sporting director, that's the only thing I can go off because, you know, there's no market for watching sporting directors do their business in it. You can only go off the reports and stuff. I looked at him at Roma and he got a lot of money and he wasted it and he made some bad decisions and he sold some players for too cheap. And I'm just hoping he doesn't do that at Villa. And the way that it's going right now, I'm not confident that I can say that Monchi's a good sporting director. I think he's made some good signings, but this Dougie deal like really, really, really like puts me in question because, as your bro said, like we should have been getting like 60, 70 mil for Dougie. If Tonali's going for 55, if Moises Caicedo is going for 105, Enzo Fernandez went for 115, people will be like, oh, well, it's Chelsea. Pogba went for 93 from Juve. And that was what, 8 years ago? And then you're looking at Declan Rice, 105 million. I'm not saying Douglas Luiz is as good as Declan Rice, but I'd like to think that Douglas Luiz commands a fee close to what Rice commands. Do you know what I mean? If it's not 70, 80 million. So I'm just like, I just look at the market. When you look at like the individual aspects of it, like what you said, like contract, everything like that, I go, okay, fair enough. But then I also look at the fact that, you know, if other teams are able to get money for players, Yves Bissouma, he went for what, like 36 million? And he was running out of contract, didn't it? If other teams are able to negotiate that, why weren't we able to negotiate like at least give me 13 million more, Monchi? Make it 55. I'll be able to swallow that. At this moment in time, I don't know about 42, man.
So Michael's put something in here, which is a comment. How would you feel with Luiz playing at Villa Park in the Arsenal shirt? So I think Marcus insinuated, the same way for you.
The same way that I felt when Grealish came. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it hurts, but at the end of the day, like that's football, isn't it? Like I don't support a big 16.
That depends how much Arsenal pay as well.
That's a very good point.
Like how much are we talking? What was the opportunity cost of giving up this Arsenal deal? Say this hypothetical Arsenal deal. Let's just assume there was one. Like what was the price that Premier League clubs were willing to demand? That's what I'd have to weigh up. So it's a hard question really to answer. But just to touch on Dougie though, just away from the price, I think his story is so remarkable. Like for a player to be from a different continent, he has no ties to Aston Villa. He probably didn't even know who he was when we signed him. Like he rocked up, saw Dean Smith, probably thought Dean Smith was like the caretaker working there, like opening the door. Like, you know, them ones like they stood outside. Like he doesn't know who Dean Smith is. But yeah, the fact that we've seen him develop, he's had his questionable moments. There's been times where he hasn't been good, but like just to see him grow and grow, 5 years at one club in the modern game, that's unheard of. Like he's nearly touched Grealish appearances for the club. He's got, I think he's got 202. I think Grealish is like 245. So he weren't far off touching Grealish's appearances. Got us Champions League. He won Players Player and Fans Player in the 2022-23 season. I think there needs to be more of a convo of where he goes like all-time Villa midfielders. I feel like that conversation's kind of been pushed to the side because of the fee and him going and the way it's happened. Like it's been quick. Like there was no like real final goodbye where we knew this was his last game for certain. So I would like to see him come back to Villa Park one day, like before a game, and be properly sent off. Because I think if you look at our midfield in modern history anyway, like he's definitely up there, man. He's honestly,
for sure.
I'd put him top,
for sure,
100% in terms of achievement.
For sure. In my lifetime, for sure,
yeah. I reckon he's one of those players where like all of us in 20 years' time, we're going to be telling our kids about we had this one Brazilian flair guy called Douglas Luiz.
First one.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like you know how like
Wesley, you know the thing about that. Wesley's one the first one. You know.
Was Wesley before Dougie? Allow it.
Yeah, you got to kind of skip past it.
I'll just talk about how they both got Brazilian caps at the same time.
Yeah.
Both playing for the same
Wesley's a preacher now, which is crazy.
Is he?
No way.
Yeah, he weren't religious when he weren't religious before he signed for us, and obviously he had the injury. His wife's religious, I think, and she got him into now he preaches. So a nice little backstory to Wesley.
Mad, that's
big up Wesley. Sick. He's got a little regen out in Brazil now, so his time's done, I reckon.
He's living. I reckon he's living.
You should go join Coutinho. Surely that could work, man. Like little link.
Oh, we'll get onto that. From the boy from Vasco for sure. But yeah, with Dougie, I was thinking. Remember that time we were going to play ball, and we thought that Man City were going to sign Dougie on his release clause, and we were gutted. We were like, "Yo, that's going to be a huge
his
loss."
brother
a few
was
years ago.
His brother was doing up. This is what you've worked hard for with like blue emojis. I was like, "Oh, you."
Yeah, it's just like, allow it, innit? And like, just because we couldn't get the work permit, allow it. It never materialised, and obviously the one time when Arsenal on deadline day looked like he was going to Arsenal, he never did.
I thought he was gone, man. I thought
yeah,
when they put in the third bid, I was like, "Ooh, nah!" Like he's and for 25 mil as well, that would hurt.
He wanted to go as well. It's understandable. They were top of the league, and we had Gerrard. We were 16th. Like,
he signed a new deal under Perslow and Gerrard. That is madness to me. That happened. Like he signed a new deal. So yeah, Dougie goes with my best wishes, man. And I think he'll be quality under Motta. And they sign from Turan. They get Cooper Miners as well. They're going to be
that's like my dream midfield. That is Luiz, Cooper Miners. It's like a dream midfield. I'd love that at Villa. Like one day if it ever was to happen, but obviously he's moved on now.
So yeah, we'll move on to the other outgoings then and potential ones as well. So Iroegbunam went to Everton. I think we all feel as if that was part of some PSL movement in terms of Dobbins going one way, Tim going the other way. Your thoughts on Tim, guys? Like, I feel like I thought he was going to get to the next level. I did feel that way, and potentially he will do at Everton. When Unai was stating about Kamara's injury, I always remember that just after the United game, he said, "This is Tim's time now to take his opportunity." Albeit, I didn't feel as if Tim has the same attributes as Bobby Kamara. I think they're not the same in that sense. I think Tim should be playing further forward up the pitch. QPR, he demonstrated that as well. So I can't really say he got the opportunity in that sense. But yeah, I think Tim will go on to be a good Premier League player. Whether he goes on to the level I thought he might, I'm not so sure. But yeah, what do you guys think about Tim?
I don't. Obviously, I'm not like mad upset that Tim's left. I am slightly a bit like, I would have liked to keep him. I remember like a couple of years ago when he was on loan at QPR, my mate had a spare QPR ticket, and I was like, "Oh, do you know what? Let me go because I want to go see Tim Iroegbunam play." I think Ethan Laird was playing right back for QPR. That day as well, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I got my eye on Ethan Laird because at one point I wanted Villa to sign him." So I was like, "Okay, let me go see Tim and Ethan Laird." And obviously, what's his name? Who our manager pretty much.
Michael Beale. It was Michael Beale, wasn't it? Yeah.
He was managing. And I was like, "Oh, let me go see." They go see Wild. They played the exact same system as Gerrard did at Villa, by the way. It actually worked. Just shows you that it's a championship tactic. But yeah, I saw Tim that night and I was like, damn, this is a player. Like that half season that he was in the championship, like that game that I watched, I was like, wow, like maybe that was just his level at the time. But I thought to myself, I was like, if he comes back and he like does anything like this, we've got a right player. But obviously he's gone to Everton. I guess now it's just, we just hope that Lewis Dobbin is better than Tim. Whatever happens, we just, we need Dobbin to be better than Iroegbunam. But yeah, no, I think, I'm kind of like better over it.
Yeah. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, I'm kind of similar to TJ, where it's just like I'm not really upset, but it's almost like what could have been maybe if like things clicked. Like football's all about timing and stuff, and it was awkward with Tim because he was kind of being brought on into games where the game state weren't in our favour and we were holding on, and there was a lot of pressure. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I don't like the Everton move for him. I don't like because Dyche has his favourites. I feel, and if like you don't make it from like the off, like it's hard to break into a team. So
I could see Tim playing in that Abdullah Decore role, just off in that 10 sort of position. I think Tim would be good in that role.
But that's the thing, though. Will he get in there over Decore? That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, he has his favourites. But good luck to him, though, man. Hopefully he'll get a lot more game time than he did at Villa. But as for Dobbin, it's crazy because when I look at his highlight reel, it's at a game at Villa Park this season. Like most of the
is it the League Cup game?
He's skinning our defense. I don't know why. Like I zoned out. We must have been like 4-0 up because we were at the game. I don't know why I zoned out of his performance. He played. Like,
was it the league game?
Yeah, he played 45 minutes in the game. In the Premier League, the second game, and he's skinning up like Matty Cash. And I was like, when did this happen? He looks insane in the footage, but hopefully, if he goes on loan, I don't mind him going on loan to like a Bundesliga side. I think that could be a good move. But if we are keeping him, he might surprise a lot of people, man. I don't know where he played or like. Is he a centre forward? Is he a left winger? Is he a right winger? I don't know.
He's been listed in the squad as a centre forward currently. So, but with Unai, you don't know. You could play him anywhere. So, yeah. So yeah, we'll see how that develops.
We're pretty
bringing
stacked
on
to the left. Yeah.
We have that left side of the pitch. We seem very stacked in there, and I think there might be a bit of movement with outgoings as well regarding that. Coutinho looks like he's going out on loan to Vasco now.
It's got to be one of the worst deals in the history of Villa.
Ever, man.
It's a disgrace, bro. It's a disgrace. Like, real talk. Like, people and I don't want to get onto it too much, but like, when you waste this money, you have to pay us up. It's like a trickle down into like what we're seeing now with the prices and that. It's just like it's all linked, man. Like, this is why we just say like some of these deals like they cost you in the future, but. Yeah,
that Coutinho deal was just pure nepotism, innit? Like, Gerrard was 100%. Like, yo, Philip, I got something going on here at Villa. And you know what I always thought about Coutinho, yeah? Because I was one of those people where, like, when we signed Coutinho, to me, that was when my mind completely shifted on Villa. That's when we went from a Matty Target team to a Moreno team. Do you know what I'm saying? That's when I was like, okay, we're proper.
I reckon, yeah, before we had Grealish before that, though.
Yeah, but I know, but
he came through the academy, innit? So like, I was like, he's one of our own. Yeah. Whereas like when you sign, because obviously like I grew up with Coutinho, man.
Name brand.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I remember watching Coutinho back at Inter Milan, thinking this kid's going to be one of the best in the world. And then I remember us signing him, and he was what, like 28 when we signed him, just about to turn 29. And I was like, yo, if we even get like half of Liverpool Coutinho, even half of Bayern Coutinho, do you know what I'm saying?
The United game gassed everyone up. That game gassed, like, it was like, okay,
bro. Do you know the one?
The real deal.
The one that like had me like was, do you remember that Arsenal 4-2 game where we went 2-1 up, and that first half Coutinho was playing like prime. I don't even know what player. And that celebration he did with Doug, bro.
Oh yeah.
Bro, and then if you said,
what's funny about Coutinho with me though is I remember at the time he came on against United, and he hurt himself a start at Everton away, which was the weekend after the next game. And he had a stinker, and I thought in the back of my mind, you know what? I'm just gonna brush this off like it's minor. Like, it's Everton. He's a former Liverpool player. Like, he just got to him, and I already started like the coping mechanism. And then he had the Leeds game, and I was just like, okay, we're back. Like, that was his best ever game for me against Leeds at home.
That Leeds game was class.
But then
he just showed moments, but like,
he'd already.
It's just like, never gonna
looking back, man. Like, he regressed during the loan. Like, during the loan, you could already see like, okay, this might not be the vibe. And then come summer, we just spent like 17 million on him. Made him one of the highest paid people at the club. I was like, bro, Gerrard was gone 2 months later. Like, come on, man.
And he was left there. Like, that's the crazy. I think if Gerrard kicks on, then maybe we see Coutinho in it. But Coutinho is like the perfect example of like, you've got good footballers and then you've got good football players in it. Coutinho has always been a good footballer, but like you get people that play futsal that's some of the most incredible footballers in the world. But then you wonder why they don't play 11-a-side, because you need to be a good football player in it. And you could see just in glimpses with his touch, like the way that he just used to scan, like even off the ball, you could see that he was a baller in it, but he just couldn't piece it together. And
his legs wouldn't let him. He just couldn't get about the pitch.
It's because like when he was like 22, 23, he was just spamming shots, running everywhere. He was quite gritty as well. Like Coutinho, he'd go into a challenge. Do you know what I'm saying? And then I think, like when the whole Liverpool kind of thing took over, I think going for 130 million when you probably know that you're not a 130 million pound player probably isn't the way to go. And then he goes to Barca, and it's just a bit like, and we got scraps from Barca in it. I'm not actually mad at the deal, because as much as I like not hate him, but as much as I hate the deal, because obviously he didn't come about, I am going to be one of those fans and say, do you know what? He did give me just like a bit of magic. Do you know what I mean? He made me smile.
I think every fan's like that.
But what I'll say on Coutinho is, I feel like as a fan base, we had to go through a deal where it's illustrated. Signing a big name does not mean that it's always going to bang. And I feel like we needed to go through this experience to have a reference point in future. Because when we're like, like I say it sometimes now, like even do you remember Suarez links? Bro? Like we were having Suarez links and that, and like you say to someone, yeah, I don't want Suarez at Villa, and like they look at you like you're a madman, but they don't. It's not been thought through, you know. So now that we got the Coutinho reference point, it's something to just I can just go back to be like, see, just because it's a big name, just because they used to be sick, it doesn't. Like that's not the way to club like Villa.
Was Coutinho ever start to putting us back on the map?
Yeah, to me anyway.
I ain't giving him that credit. I can't do that.
I think like in a world where kind of like football is only around kind of like social media and like just little things like playing with Villa on FIFA 22 or whatever it was and having like an 84 rated. Do you know what I mean? Just little things.
Yeah. That's true.
And Steven Gerrard as manager. Sort of.
Yeah, I think like we got a bit of clout for it because I even at like work, like back at my old job, people come up to me being like, "Yo, like you guys just like Coutinho," and I was like, "Yeah, like do you know what I'm saying?" But like
because we had it with Jack, and then when Jack left, it was kind of like okay, Villa are irrelevant now. Like we don't have to focus on them from like a general fan because people were tuning into Grealish games during lockdown. Like people were actively like doing their work from home, and they're just like, "I get to watch Jack Grealish tonight." Like that's the kind of clout we had from that. And then he goes. Obviously, Bailey doesn't land straight away. Buendia doesn't land, and then you get Coutinho, and it's kind of like, okay, we got our relevance back in terms of like people knowing about our players. But now, if you think to Villa, who is the main name from us? It's Emery. Whenever you hear people talk about Villa, Emery's the first person to talk. They don't talk about players. Right? Yeah, it's Emery, then it's Martinez that's like slowly after.
Yeah,
but it's Emery,
Martinez, Watkins.
Yeah.
When I speak to people like about Villa, the first thing they say is Emery. Like Emery's the guy that that's how people see Villa now. So
Emery, you know, like seeing my club in Champions League football, is just I never ever thought that would be the case. Never. So Emery's done enough already for me, man. Like,
bro, honestly, I shed a tear. And then we lost 5-0 to Palace, and I was like, okay.
Back to reality.
I forgot about bro. I just finally got out of my mind, man. That game.
Oh man, I remember just thinking, I was like, can I not just have like a week of happiness with that? Just a week.
I was thinking, you know, like England do all the socials are quite good in that. And like Cons has been, I saw Watkins was with Dean Henderson the other day. Like Cons did one of those things with Josh Denzel with Eze. I was thinking, have they been giving it them before like the last while they've been on international duty? Have Eze, because there's like 4 Palace players, isn't there? There's Gay, Wharton, Eze, and Henderson. I wonder if they've just been sticking it on like Cons and Watkins about that game, man, because that game was.
Every time they ask for like I don't know chicken nuggets, like I need 5 chicken nuggets.
5, just skewing a little, just a little one.
Do you know what I hope? I hope that Konsa and Watkins are like nudging Eze and being like, "Yo, like,
come.
I know you got a couple teams in for you, but do you know what I'm saying?" Or like, that's
you're not gonna hate me. I actually wouldn't even want that signing now.
What, Eze?
Yeah, I just think with Villa now, I have to remove the oh my god, this will be the sickest name ever to bring.
And
like because if we're talking funds now, innit, I have to get the boring nerd logical side out. It's just like we need a defender, like we need a centre back, like if
he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit at all, but like I definitely I don't know. I wouldn't say I'd swap him for anyone yet.
If we saw Buendia, which isn't gonna happen, but I could see
But like someone like Wharton, for example, I think if you're Aston Villa and like you're like, this is like what I kind of rate about the top 6. The only thing I rate is that they get better. They would rather get better and make the other team worse than just get better and the other teams get better. So like if United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal have a chance to sign a player from a Tottenham, a Villa, a West Ham, a Brighton, they'll do it. And they'll pay a premium because that premium is basically we're making you worse, isn't it? Yeah. If I was Aston Villa, I'd be looking at players like Gehi. I'd be looking at players like Wharton. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd be like, and I'd be saying to Palace, like, just G-check him. Just be like, yo, we want Adam Wharton. What's your, you know what I'm saying? What's your price?
I think teams are trying to do that this summer. I think Elise's gone. I think Eze's going to go as well. Yeah. And then there's rumours Gay's price is going up now after the Euros, but for sure. Definitely. But I think
he would have come back down after the last game, though. Maybe come back down after the last game.
5 or 10.
To be fair, that was a hospital pass by truth. What I was gonna say though, it's funny, you know, Watkins and Konsa, I don't think they actually like get on with. I watch all the England, they never chilling with each other, bro. I think they're just different people. I've noticed that, like, you see Watkins like really chills with like Matty Cash and that, and Konsa's more chilling with like Bailey and that. Like, I just think they're just they have different friendship groups as well. But I think Konsa's like Chelsea, like Ivan Toney more than what. I just thought it was funny, like seeing the pics.
I reckon Ollie Watkins, like I clocked it when Bailey shouted at him, innit? I reckon everyone's just like, oh, do you know what? He's good in it, so just allow him. I reckon a few people at Villa are like, can he shut up? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know when Bailey was shouting at him, like you know when you see,
Bailey was the pass was flying, like
bro, and you know who's in the wrong in it. I watched that and I was like, yeah, Watkins is in the wrong.
Yeah. Was that because he didn't pass? He was saying Watkins basically said to Bailey, he didn't pass. Bailey was just like, what do you expect me to do, sort of thing.
Yeah. I think it was that Bailey was like in on goal, but Diaby and Bailey were both like in, and Diaby was onside and Bailey was offside. And I think Watkins has shouted to Bailey, he's been like, get it. And then obviously when it's been offside, Ollie was like, why don't you pass? And Bailey was like, this is like, you started this, you know what I'm saying? Like you told me to run onto the ball. I don't even remember what game that was. Was it Liverpool?
I think it was Liverpool, yeah. It was the last game. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I know.
We're mad. So yeah, who else is potentially moving on then? Or
Kellyman, bro.
Oh yeah, let's go. Yeah, we forgot about Omari. So Kellyman.
Oh, yeah.
Is that Carney take 2, or is it an even better deal than that for Villa's perspective?
I think you can't look at the deal individually. I think the fee we've paid for Maatsen, I think that's an important piece of context to why Omari's cost so much. Like we're clearly just helping each other.
But is Maatsen's fee inflated in this market? Because when you see a loose Baker go to Newcastle,
I think so. Yeah, I think so slightly. Just because of the prem minutes, I'd say. I know we got far with Dortmund, but just the prem minutes alone, I think.
Yeah, fair.
It's a bit inflated, I think. Just a little
100%,
bit.
Yeah.
But
I think he probably goes for like what?
33 maybe? I don't know. Like this, 37 just feels that little bit. I don't know. Just a little bit.
So is 19 million for Omari Kellyman inflated then? What are our thoughts on that?
I think like if you're like a Prem scout and you're saying like ignore the market, how much would you pay for a talent with this profile? I think they'd probably be like around 15 to 20 mil. But obviously I think Kellyman insanely raw. Like he's not like do you know what I mean? Like I think it will piece together. I actually like had to U-turn. I thought Kellyman was kind of dead. And then I actually like instead of watching him at the final 5 minutes of the game, I just like watched like his under 21s. I was like, okay, now.
Did I speak to you about him? Because I was speaking to someone as well that didn't rate Kellyman, and I just thought you got to weigh up profile. He's so tall, and the way he glides on the pitch, like he shouldn't be that normal for a kid that young to be that tall to glide the way he does. And he's made an impact in the little minutes he's had, like the Hibernian game. I know it's Hibernian and it's low opposition, but he looked standout as soon as he got on the ball, and that's what you can do as a 17-year-old at the time. And he was just
would have been in.
People forget he had a big injury. Like Emery's got him in the first team, and Emery probably would have given him opportunities in the Conference League. He's just unlucky. But I'm a bit gutted. I kind of did feel like if Chelsea, when Fabrizio started saying there'll be one academy player, I thought, if they're serious, and Chelsea are quite good with scouting young players, like a lot of the players they've been linked to are actually really talented young players, then Kellerman's our best academy player right now. So
100%.
Yeah, it's interesting one with Kellerman's involvement in the squad, because do you remember like Caden Young was part of the squad for a moment of time and he was getting minutes as well, and then
he got injured as well.
Injured, and then he didn't quite get to that position. But Kellyman, he even got injured, and then as soon as he was fit again, he was back in the squad. So he was part of the first.
To be fair to Caden, he made the Palace game. So I think he finally got over his injury, and then Emery was just like, okay, you're back in my squad.
Yeah. I mean, Lander Emery got in that squad as well.
We discussed this at the time.
Osprey could have got in that squad like once Lander Emery.
Do you know what? I actually I tried to find him on my scout. I couldn't find any clips.
He's not even on there.
I couldn't find. I mean, maybe I don't have the right subscription in it, but
I hear it and I don't hear it, man. It's whatever, and it just feel like you just been an annoying fan just to complain about it. But I think there is reason to. Be like that.
I think like
that's a bit mad, like.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think It's crazy, but when you look at Emery, like I think there was a report that came out that he had like 3 girlfriends or something. Obviously, he's got like the Real Union stuff going on as well. I reckon Emery is not scared to put his son in the starting.
Yeah, Emery's got us like he's got his boyhood club like just being funny by Villa. Like he's kind of a done like the way he gets these things like done.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
100%. And they're playing in Claret Blue away kit. Like they're fully on board with it. They're like, if you're going to keep funding it, we're in.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So go on to potential departures, and we'll talk about potential arrivals as well because it's interesting, man. This is the exciting part of the summer. So a few links we've had. One today, Joao Felix. Obviously, you have the Alex Buena, the Pedro Goncalves links. You have
Joao Felix.
Joao Felix, yeah. Potentially.
Stay away.
It's been rumored for how many years? This is like probably the second year that Emery Joao Felix. It seems like there's something in it. There is something. It's basically if Joao Felix wants to come to Villa.
I swear, Emery and Monchi, them guys. You know those girls that are like, they go for guys that aren't very great. And they're like, I can fix him. Do you know what I'm saying? He's just had a hard time. It seems like Emery and Monchi, man. Joao Felix would be the most Monchi signing. I can imagine like a 1-year loan deal with an obligation to buy for like 62 mil. Do you know what I'm saying? That would. Oh god, we don't. I don't want Joao Felix anywhere near my club. We saw him at 11 against Chelsea.
The sources weren't like the crazy, like he weren't like Fabrizio saying it or anything, but it's just Spanish.
It seems like it's one that just, if there was one that could happen, I just think that would be it. Considering the position he's in currently, I think he's got an offer to Benfica on the table.
I don't know how you like feel. I feel we're good on the attackers now. I know there's the we'll get onto it. There's the question about Duran. Then I can understand bringing in a striker, but I'd want someone a lot younger that like to be that would accept playing behind Watkins and getting minutes here and there. But apart from that, I think we're so stacked in attack. Like I like our attacking options now. Like, if we go through quickly, we've got Watkins, Duran, Iling Jr., Bailey, Diaby, Buendia, Dobbin,
Rogers.
Roger, I think did I not say Roger? That's 8 players for 4 positions. No, it's 3 positions probably. 3 or 4 positions. That's 2 in each. Yeah, I think we're good on attackers, man.
And then you want to give kids in the academy, like you want to show them that, like, there's a route into the team, innit? Like you don't want to like overstack. Like if you got Joao Felix, someone like Rory Wilson is probably going, I'm gonna leave now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I agree. Like I think. I don't. If we didn't make another,
that's what I think. The next one is centre backs. I want to see centre backs.
Yeah.
You've seen the Bijol links. Do you rate him? The Slovenia centre back. What are your thoughts regarding that? Because there's been a few links regarding.
It's a weird one.
Had a decent tournament for Slovenia, but
I've called him the Suchek of centre backs. He's blood and sweat, and he's gonna die for the badge, and he's gonna do the last minute headed blocks like John Terry in like 2000s, but his progression stats, can he play the way Emery wants? Now his progression stats are pretty poor, but I'm not sure if Udinese. We don't know in it. We don't know, but I don't know, man. That one's a bit of a meh. I don't know.
Yeah, I did see that as well, and I was thinking because Udinese, they were struggling. Potentially, that was just the style of play that they were. That was what they were going for, and that wasn't a look on on how he plays with the ball or how progressive he is with the ball. But obviously for Emery team, centre backs have to be progressive. That's how we play, whether it's carrying the ball or passing with the ball. So
if it's true, then I don't mind it. Like if it's like a 11, 12 million, then I think it's all right because he's young, isn't he? He's 22.
I think he's 25. Yeah,
25. Okay. Yeah, 25.
Still young.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, if it's a shrewd deal, then but as much as I like the progressive, like kind of centre backs, I think Longley has kind of shook me a bit because he was insane at passing. Like his like whatever. But
he was as good as Pal as passing.
I had to be old school at points. You need to at least defend, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe
he's passing. He was.
Had quality.
Pal was. I think
Powell's class. Yeah, Powell's class is better than Lenglet, but I think passing, I don't think he's that far off Pau Torres.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that far off.
You rated
I
him
didn't
there?
mind Lenglet. I didn't mind Lenglet. I didn't rate him
I-
when he was playing right side. So when he was Power and Lenglet together, that was
Ooh,
a disaster. That was
Yeah,
a
that was
disaster. But
horrible.
I thought he stepped in as better than I thought he was gonna.
when
To
he
be
picks
honest.
up confidence, like,
Yeah, I
because
thought
like
he was
he was
going to
one
be a
of those players
disaster
like
at
because he
first.
moves like so slowly, you're always on the edge of your seat. You kind of want your defender to be a bit like quicker. So I was always on the edge of my seat, but there was maybe 8 out of 10 times in build up, I'd be like, he made the right pass, he made the right decision. Do you know what I'm saying? It was only like when he was facing his own goal when the issue started to kick in. But you can see why Spurs like couldn't deal with him because like Spurs like even before Ange, like Spurs, like like they like to play like pretty rigid back four. They didn't really do build up like that, so I could see why Spurs and him didn't really get on. But I liked Longley. I just like I'm old school in it. Like I want my centre backs to be able to defend first. Like if you're a great ball player and you're a great passer, then to me that's just like it's not plus. It's like it just means like if you can do both, then you're insane. Like Saliba, Gabriel. I don't know about Ruben Diaz at this moment in time, but like even Thiago Silva, I know he's older, but like if you're good on the ball and you can pass, to me that's a perfect centre back. And even if like you lunge into challenges, I think that can be taught, and that just comes with age. But yeah, if I like centre back wise, yeah, I think Powell Konsa is good. I don't know about Mings.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It
like
depends where he is.
I was gonna say like someone listening to me say we need defenders now. They might look and be like, "Well, we've got 3 left backs, we've got 2 left centre backs, we've got 2 right centre backs, and we've got 2 right backs. Like, why do we need defenders?" But I just think there's this awkwardness about our current situation and our current depth. That's probably going to be addressed hopefully this window. The left back situation. One of Dean and Moreno's got to go. Like we can't have 3 left backs. Like that's ridiculous. So one of them is going to get sold. I prefer Luca Dean being sold, but I know a lot of people disagree with that as well. But I just think Moreno, don't fold on him yet. Let him get a preseason. He hasn't had one since his injury. And you have 2 players identical in the same position that suit that role. And I think Moreno suits it more than Dean. And people will say, no, it's good to have different left backs. But I disagree. Look at the left centre back Emery brought in. We just spoke about him for Pau Torres. He likes like for like players
Identical,
for his position.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like Moreno to stay. Then the right centre back, we have Konza and Carlos. Carlos was touted as being sold for FFP reasons. We know that's not the case anymore now, but could we still look to a deal there, or do we use him for his Champions League experience? We've got to weigh that one up. The right back four, we've been linked to new right backs. We have Costa, that's going to be the backup. And then there's the question about, does Matty Cash still get sold? AC Milan are looking at Emerson Royale now. Have we missed out on a deal there? Does Cash now stay after PSR? And then the final position with Mings, how is Mings going to come back? Do we have to be ruthless and sign a left centre back from now and don't even wait to find out how Mings comes back from this injury? Because it's another significant injury.
There was links today with Juve centre back, wasn't it? Hoyland.
Yeah,
the perfect signing for you.
So there was links to that. So
is he left-footed?
Yeah,
he's both. He can play both.
Oh wow,
he's predominantly left, isn't he? But he can play both.
Yeah,
this deal for me is just like anything under 30 million. You're buying potential, and he's going to be raw. But if he lands, oh my goodness! Like I don't even think we keep him that long, but we'd make a significant profit. So it's one of them type of players.
Yeah.
And just because Juve are selling a player doesn't mean they're bad. Like they're notorious for selling some of their best talent.
Oh, the board are only clocking on now how bad they're being.
Juve, one.
They've only now fixed off. Yeah, they've only now just fixed off. Like,
yeah. They're like, we need to get this guy out, and then we need to get a new manager.
Matthias Sol, I can't understand how they're trying to sign Matthias Sol. I don't know what's going on there, because what I've seen of him, he looks like he's going to be an absolute baller. Give it a few years, but
I think like that's the thing. Like with Mings, I always hated Mings in it. Like, it's nothing personal. I just hate the way he plays. And I always thought, like, as good as he is, and as good as he was under Emery before he got the ACL, I always thought that, like, I want my 2 centre backs to be like the first names on the team sheet. Again, I just like I like defenders in it, and if you look at the best teams in the league, they are that good because when you're able to attack in numbers and you're able to really overload a team and have like the most complex passages of play in the third phase of play, it's all because you trust your two centre-backs, and you know that those two centre-backs, if it does come to man, 9 out of 10 times, they're going to... How many times have you seen a fast winger bearing down on Saliba one-on-one? You look away, you look back, Saliba's now driving with the ball up the pitch. Same thing with Van Dijk. Same thing with the centre back Van der Ven at Spurs.
Yeah.
So like, I want.
Do you think Ezri's that centre back? Because there was times when Ezri does that.
He's getting there. 1v1,
like 1v1. A player will try
Yeah.
take him on, and he'll come out with the ball. He'll just turn.
Yeah.
Hunter's
Touch the
issues,
ball.
aerial duels. That's where Hunter's
Yeah.
duels.
Yeah.
Aerial duels are a big problem for Villa, and I think the scouting team might target that, because with Maatsen in now, as much as I'll probably get on to Dean a lot, aerial duels, he's really good at winning them.
Yeah.
It's one of his biggest strengths, and Maatsen is one of the worst in Europe at aerial
Yeah,
duels.
he is.
Already,
But I think Konsa's aerial and on the floor duels are right up there, aren't they? Anyway, which is kind of like he does still win. He doesn't may not seem that like that.
He lacks like, I think he's like a B tier centre back. Like I think he's a good centre back, but like you can see a clear difference between Konsa and Power in it, like just as like a football player. And I would like, if I was again the Villa board, I'd be ruthless. I would go and try and sign a player that's better than Pau Torres. So then Mings, Konsa, and Carlos are like, yo, if we get minutes, those need to be proper minutes. Because Diego Carlos, I'm gonna butt like that guy. Bro, do not get me started on Diego Carlos, man.
But the thing is,
like
Diego
him,
Carlos,
I like Carlos.
Diego Carlos can be world class. He has had world class games for us. Like
That's why
Arsenal away, he was world class.
Do you know the type of player that like angers me the most, right? Is the type of player where you look at their physique, you look at their attributes,
passing ability,
passing, dribbling up the pitch, defending, like last ditch defending. Do you know what I mean? Like recovery speed. He's got it all. But why does he play like that sometimes? Do you ever just watch him? And you're just like, bro. Like
it's just recklessness.
It's mental.
Yeah, just some of the things. It's like you're too aggressive, bro. Like relax, man. You're too.
He switches off. He just switches off.
I just think to the Arsenal away game where he's one of the best centre back performances I've ever seen from a Villa player. Where he's flawless. He's pretty much flawless. Like he's bullying them. His passing's exceptional. He helps sustain pressure against Arsenal. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal at the Emirates for a whole second half. Like we fully deserve to win that game. I just think, could he do that in a Champions League where he's up for it and he mentally has to? He knows like concentration levels. He's played in Europe. He's won a Europa League. Like, could we use that next season?
I think the harder the game. Facts, bro. I think you're spot on because I think the harder the game, the more Diego Carlos switches on. The
he
more
plays with his opponents, isn't it?
Literally, yeah. He does.
He got man of the match in both Arsenal games.
Yeah.
And City at home, he was class as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like sometimes I'm just like, this guy is a true centre back. Other times I'm like, are you drunk, bro?
yeah, true. Facts. Yeah.
The thing is, if he plays to his potential and how he's been playing, him and Powell on the ball are just different levels. They're so good. That's how we pinned Arsenal in because it didn't matter if the ball was coming back to Diego Carlos or Pau Torres. Their ball playing's elite, so they would find the pass and put them back under pressure, and then we were able to push up and keep them camped in their half. It's just consistency. I think that's just his biggest problem. It's consistency.
Yeah.
Going into Champions League as well as playing. I think we need another centre back anyway, but it would just be what level do we go for? They
might keep Chambers for the homegrown, but I think that's probably I've kind of thought about it, like Chambers might stay, but we still need to bring in just for the homegrown.
Do we look at Mark Gay?
I'd like it.
I don't know. I feel like the position Villa are in, I hear what TJ was saying about you make teams weaker, but I feel like we still are that club where we need to do proper scouting and just go for a player that's probably not already got his mileage in the Premier League. Everyone knows his name now after the Euros. I just feel like we're still that. We're not Manchester United where you spend like 75 million on a Braithwaite or something like that. We still need to look abroad and be smart with it. But Højlund, I love the Dean Højlund link, man. I think that could be incredible business. But
if it was up to you guys, would you keep Cash?
No.
How about this? AC Milan, they say, okay, cool, we want to sign Cash. We'll give you 17.5. Take it or leave it.
No, I'd need.
That's
I think you made the point about
value.
Yeah, as even if you don't like the player, you have to get good money for your.
Yeah.
Like these guys got Champions League, no matter what you feel about the players. I think you made that point before, TJ, and it kind of changed my thinking. Where it's just like you have to get value of all the players. So 20 million,
you have to be.
I'd want for Cash.
Oh, you have to be a salesman, innit? Like if you know the value of your asset, but you're going to try and get the ceiling. I've always said that, like, unless it's even 25, I would still be a bit like, can you push to 30 in it?
Yeah,
like I don't think I'd send him for less than 30. Like, I don't rate Cash as a player. I think I like watching Cash for like his good moments, but his bad moments, I'm just like, oh man. And like, I think he's kind of like a dying breed of fullback.
Yeah, he is for sure.
Where like they're not like the most amazing on the ball in like a kind of complex like top 6 aiming system. He's not going to be the most, on the ground, but when you're 2-1 up and a winger's, running down the line, you do need someone that's just going to like go in for a tackle. He's great on the overlap. That's one thing I'll give to Cash. Like he picks up ground quickly, and he's good on the overlap. And but
he gets into good positions to score. That's probably one of his best attributes.
Yeah, he does.
He finds himself in good positions at the back post a lot of the times. Whether he finishes or not, that's kind of. But he gets the chances. Like he's quite high.
Yeah. And that's the thing you said again. TJ, undervaluing, bro. You said like that Cash signed for 50 million as a Championship player. Has he not within that time doubled his value at minimum? Considering we're now a Champions League side.
I hear it.
And if AC Milan,
and he's a Polish international as well.
Do you know what I'm saying? If AC Milan are knocking on your door, you open the door, bruv, because they will.
It's the problem with Italian clubs, so like they're just so broke, like relatively broke.
Yeah.
Why does the rest of Europe have to be like? Why can't there be another league in Europe that's like rich? Than the
man, honestly, the league is coming back though. We hope.
Yeah, it needs to come back. It does need to come back for sure, man. Well, yeah, we'll just discuss a few rumours of outgoings and stuff like that to, Jacob Ramsey. What were your thoughts about that when you saw that? Potentially Spurs made a bid. Was it, do you reckon it was Villa had offered a number of players before knowing their PSR troubles and it was, okay, we'll decide at the time which one we go for? Yeah. Would you want to sell Jacob Ramsey?
Firstly, no. I'm tired now. No more selling the high ceiling talent. Duran, I can kind of see because he wants to leave. But Jacob Ramsey does not want to leave. He's made it clear he wants to stay. Stop selling the higher ceiling talent and stop going off short-termism and recency bias. Like, let the boy get a pre-season after a horrific injury where he come off one of his best seasons at Villa. Like, let's relax, let's slow down. But I think if we had more clout, that bid, I think it's one of the funniest things that's happened in football in a while. And I think nobody's talking about it just because it's us. For a former sporting director to have all the information, know who we were scouting, know who the manager likes, to go to Spurs and bid for a player he likes and put Lo Celso.
That was the thing, man. To try and sweeten it just because of Emery.
Hilarious. And I think personally, Emery was weighing it up. That's the funny thing about it. I think Emery might have thought, you know what? If you would have made this 30 million, like I might have been.
What can I do with Giovanni? Bring him back. I know.
I hate everything about it. Selling one of your high ceiling players for a guy in Lo Celso who couldn't even start for Spurs when Maddison was out injured. No, thank you.
Spurs fans rate Lo Celso, though, They do rate Lo Celso.
He plays like 10 minutes a game and he makes an impact. You give him any long term.
Argentinian international when fit.
He's been found out. For me, he's been found out in the Premier League. He's been here 5 years now, and he hasn't. Why has he not made the difference?
Yeah.
Why is he always loaned out? Like, why does he not start when Maddison's out? These are the questions you have to ask yourself, in my opinion.
So if we could get a Lo Celso for 20 million, what would your thoughts be then?
No, thank you. No, I don't like it. I don't like the deal. I just don't like it. Selling Ramsey for Lo Celso, it doesn't matter. But no. Sorry.
No Ramsey involved, just 20 million from Lo Celso, just so
opportunity cost again. I think you can just go get Bayern for 35 million, just pay the extra fee. And then you got a guy who's 21 years old that's got room to grow and hasn't failed in the Premier League before.
You can go to the champ with 13 mil for Plymouth, get Morgan Whittaker. I think he's going to do the same thing as.
Do you rate Morgan Whittaker? I kind of don't rate Morgan Whittaker a little bit.
I think that because I've watched Plymouth play a couple of times last season, I think that the system that he plays in just completely asks way too much of him. So he just makes a lot of poor decisions because like he's just always asked to be the outlet in that system. I think if Morgan Whittaker went to a team where everyone else was as good as him, I think you'd see a scary player because he's tall and he's tall, he's quick, he's got a shot on him, and I think I was speaking to a Plymouth fan a couple months ago, and they were like, when you guys signed Morgan Rogers, do you know what I mean? We were like, oh, like, you know, because I don't know if there was links or like a loose link, but I think people were talking about Whittaker when we sent what's his name on loan, Sousa, and then we took Azaz off of them, and then we obviously gave it to Middlesbrough. So like we've obviously been in contact with Plymouth, but I think I think you could go to the Championship and get do you know what I mean? You don't need Lo Celso, man. Like I'm tired of these players. I'm tired of these in between players where it's like, yeah, we get it, you're good, but
in between's a good way to do. What do you think, bro? What do you think about Ramsey? Would you sell Ramsey, or how do you feel about?
No chance. Not for me. I just think everyone's forgetting Ramsey before the injury. He was flying for Villa. Was influential us getting European football that season. He was the talisman at that point. He was performing at another level. Went to the Euros for the under-21s. Was the best player at the Euros before he got injured. Like he was carrying that England team as well in the under-21s. And that was on the same level. Gordon, he was starting ahead of Palmer. Gordon was there, but Gordon wasn't rated as on Ramsey's level at that point.
Yeah.
So, I think people just forget where Ramsey was, and because he's had a bad season with injuries,
let the boy get a pre-season. Let him get a pre-season. It's not like he had a season off because he was just bad. Like there's reason and context. He had a metatarsal injury, and we rushed him back. Like, do you know, there's a story behind why his performances dropped off. Give him a pre-season, man. Don't sell, please. Like, just that would put like a dampener on any kind of business you do.
I'm probably Ramsey's biggest critic, just because again, like when I see a player is really, really good, I normally just hold them to a different standard. I think Ramsey kind of dropped that standard, but then I did have to kind of just look back and be like, okay, he is injured. He did get rushed back. Obviously, at the end of the season, you just get a bit more context because you kind of you're able to look at it from a broader aspect. But if we were going to sell Ramsey, I'd be like, you got to slap a Grealish on it. Like we need 100 M's. If you
big money.
The rumored fee is from reliable Spurs people is Villa are happy to sell at 50 million. That's just crazy.
Villa or Monchi, bro.
If that were the case, and that is an absolute.
If Monchi, I don't even know his full name. If Rodrigo Sandro Monchi would sell Jacob Ramsey for 50 million, genuinely, I'm putting together a Facebook group and I'm doing a protest.
It's a weird one because next season we're probably going to have to sell because our PSR troubles aren't going away. Like people seem to think that's it now.
But Ramsey doesn't make sense. It doesn't make the timing just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, even selling Ramsey next season, I could begrudgingly accept. But let's just see first, do you know?
But not even that. His value. He's been injured for most of the season. This is probably the lowest value point.
Yeah,
of selling him. You're gonna have for him as a player because no one's seen him play this season. So they're just basing the value off.
Yeah. The fact that links aren't going away is it's scaring me. I'll be honest.
And it was reported in January. I think was it by the Athletic?
They reported it in January. This is what's hilarious about the story
about Ramsey.
Land went to Spurs. He took Frederick left with him. He took Rob
McKenzie, Millie Evan as well.
The first thing he did was inquire about Jacob Ramsey, bro. I think this story is hilarious. I wish more people knew about it. It's one of the funniest deals or offers I've heard. That is crazy.
They saw what was going on between us and Juve, and they were just like, "Yo, if you're giving out sweets, can I get one?" Do you know what I'm saying? You have to. I don't blame them for asking. Genuinely, with the way that Monchi's moving in the market, do you know what I mean? Flying to Turin, being "Yo, you're our only sellers. Please, give us something in it." And Lange probably looking at that, being like, Let's see what Monchi's made of. And I know, fans will be like, "Oh, you're looking into it too deep." I know that Lange knows Emery's history of Lo Celso, And I know
Oh,
that
yeah,
Lange,
that's
100%.
and I know that Lange was like, do you know what? I could probably give them someone else. Do you know what I'm saying? We could give them like an Oliver Skip. We could offer, I don't know, like we could offer them even like an Emerson, something like that. So a player that Emery would realistically like, right? And I know that he's gone. Let me just add in Lo Celso, and let me
The
just
golden
hear what his
child.
voice sounds
He's
like
so
over the phone.
cheeky. Honestly, he's so cheeky. I reckon like he's planned his whole career through this moment, bro. Like Spurs were probably his third choice, bro. But he's thought, oh, Spurs have got Lo Celso. You know what? I could kind of scheme here. And the first thing he did when he went to Spurs
It's
was
mad.
inquire for Jacob Ramsey, bro. Like,
The first bit of any business between Spurs and Lo Celso is involved in it. It's mad. It's mad.
And you can't sell to Spurs as well. Like I genuinely, I'd like
These
even
competitors.
if Spurs wanted Ramsey, I'd say 110. I'd be like, give me an Enzo.
Yeah, do what Daniel Levi would do to us. Like if we were trying to get let's say Maddison hypothetically, like put the price up, man.
If we bid for a Dogie before we sign Maatsen, they would
60
quote
million.
us. I
Maybe
think
more.
I think 80. I think they'd be like, yeah, if you want like
Yeah.
the best, arguably the best left back in the league, then you're gonna have to drop 80 M. So like, if 20 million in Lo Celso, that is offensive. That's
nuts,
genuinely offensive.
It's not.
He's so disrespectful. His contract's up soon as well. It's just so disrespectful, man.
Thinking about Italian fullbacks, and we were talking about defenders. What do you think to the Michael Coyote links that were there from Fiorentina? Because that was a one that I was hoping something would come of it and we'd sign him, because the way he's talked about, they talk about him as once Di Lorenzo's done, he's the next guy. He's the Italian right back.
They want a Dogie on one side and Coyote on the other, innit? I like Coyote from what I've seen. Again, I've only ever watched him like when I'm on TNT Sports and there's a Fury game on, I might stick it on them. But yeah, I think it's a would be a good signing. Again with right back, like I'm okay going into the season with Cash, Costa, and then Konsa if and when needed. I think Emery would probably go for Esri first. Cash is like a substitute just to change up system, and then Costa maybe in like the lower games, like league games, just to kind of just see what he's about. But if Coyote came, then I just assume that Cash leaves, because I don't think Emery would have three of them.
No. Because
again, like Cash is on decent wages, isn't it? So I don't think Emery would want to inflate that again. But yeah, I think Coyote is calm. I think like the way I am right now in like the Villa kind of transfer market is I just want the season to start, because like I don't know if you guys feel like this, but when it comes to transfers, I find it really, really hard to judge a transfer or a transfer window just because the next day you might sell your best player. Like I remember the days when like teams were only selling their best player like once every 10 years. Now you got like Paqueta moving within a season. Like you got the Wolves one, the centre mids moving within a season as well.
Max Kilman's going to West Ham.
Max Kilman's going to West Ham. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's
Ivan Toney's going to be good. Like so, I think the Cody sign is calm, but I just like when that deadline day kind of like shuts. That's when I'm going to be like, okay, cool. Like that's what our team looks like. Because again, like even with like these Ramsey links and stuff, I'm just like, what is the team actually going to look like?
I think it's Munchie as well, and how Munchie does transfer windows. We could see 11 players in, 11 players out, and we're just halfway there.
Yeah, 100%.
That could be the case. So yeah,
one thing I love about Villa is it's eventful, man. It's never really boring. Like this has probably been the biggest launch last week.
Yeah.
We are the transfer club right now. We've done 5 signings before the 30th. Well, just after 30th of June. That's insane.
We're like we're like obviously Chelsea are like making.
Obviously Chelsea, yeah.
They're making but like the thing with Chelsea is that like Chelsea aren't playing football like anymore. Like they're really not.
They're different business.
Like they're I don't know what they're trying to do over there, but it's not baseball.
They're trying to baseball. They're trying to do the baseball thing where like they prepare for lots of games and you have 4 different options. But baseball players play like twice, 3 times, 4 times a week. Like it's not the same sport.
I don't know what.
It's greed. It's disgusting, man. Like the amount of talent holding is.
And that's the thing. Like a lot of that talent is going to go to waste. I need to see their PowerPoint, man. I need
Get
to
it?
see.
How are all these families?
What's the
being
idea?
like,
I know
these families are
that,
just like it's the best project. Like, what's going on?
bruv, like, you know, with the Calafiori thing, how everyone thinks he's going to go to Arsenal, but it's just because Chelsea haven't like stepped it up yet. I bet you if Chelsea make a bid for Calafiori, he goes Chelsea, and I can't tell you why. I genuinely can't tell you why. I don't know whether
What
it's,
must you think if you're like a Wesley Fofana, or if they did sign a Calafiori, you'd be like, "Yeah, I've been out injured, and you just
if
that's
you're a
it. I'm done.
Chelsea
I'm
player,
replaced."
she was never your girl. It was just your turn.
Yeah,
Those were
yeah,
your 10
literally.
games to be good. Now your 10 games is up. You picked up a little injury because Poch just doesn't know how to manage it. Well, I don't even know if it's Poch. I just think, I don't know what they're doing in their training sessions. Like, I don't know. Ever since Eva Carnero left, like, Chelsea players just made a class. And I just feel like Chelsea, they go, oh, okay, Fofana's dead now. Let's go get Calafiori. Do you know what I'm saying? They go, oh, Casadei's dead now. Let's go get Dewsbury Hall. Like, Nicholas Jackson's dead now. Let's go get Mark Dewey. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it.
It don't make sense, does it?
Cole
Palmer's the only player who's like realistically has a position and has a.
That's the thing. That's what you're going to get with Chelsea.
Anyone else can just be a turnover. Maybe Caicedo.
Bro, they're making so many signings that 1 in 10 are going to be a Cole Palmer. I think that's the scariest part about Chelsea is that I think they go through this period where they just scattergun it, and then I think next season or the season after they completely change that like backroom staff, you know, the board and stuff. The sporting board. And then I think they're getting like a team where they're like, right, now we've got all these chess pieces, let's know how to use it. They'll get a really, really good manager. If that's Maresca, who knows? But I think the second half of this decade is going to be Chelsea's decade. And I'm just scared, bro. Like, because as much as like I think that they're just like silly in the transfer market, it gets to a point where you just have too much talent. And like that talent is going to push on. Do you know what I'm saying?
And when they're model as well, they will make player sales. They always will. They've made like 80 million this summer already, or something ridiculous like that.
That's one thing about Chelsea that like I wish that we adopted.
So they'll be sustainable.
Their strategy.
I think we're trying that though. I can't lie with Villa. We have made a lot of money through players.
700k.
Obviously, to not that.
700 to
90 million.
90 million is a bit mad for us, then. That's quite
90 million for Kellyman is nuts. Like that is
even if you wanted to keep him, like you can't deny the business is insane. Like
I think the Kellyman like sale is really good, but like do you feel like with Villa it's just like an aggregate where like Kellyman like pushes us up, and then you got JPB which just pushes us down, and that's true. Like that's the thing I hate about us is like for all the good decisions we make. It always feels like we make a decision to bite us in the arse in like 3 years.
I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen the thing about JPB?
Yeah, he's denying
agent outside Barcelona.
It's funny though. He was out there.
That was crazy.
Type beat, man. Like it's crazy.
I rate the hustle. That's just jokes.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys quickly. Just a quick thing. All players fit and available. What's your strongest 11? Just quickly. Who do you think? I can say mine if you guys want to think about it. I'll say mine first. But I'd say Martinez, Maatsen, Pau, Carlos, Konza, Rogers, Tillemans, Kamara, DRB, Watkins, Bailey.
Yeah. I think everyone fit. Yeah, I'd probably just I'd go Martinez.
No, go on. Go on, TJ.
Martinez, Maatsen, Pau, Carlos, Konsa, Kamara, Tillemans, Ramsey, Watkins, DRB. I need to drop it. Yeah.
He wants to say McGinn so bad.
I think it's still McGinn though. It's still McGinn.
Bro,
I think it's still McGinn for me.
TJ's completely, bro. I'm ready to say McGinn doesn't get in our strongest team.
Nah.
I'm
already there, bro.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Do you know what? One thing, I don't think he's one of the best 11. Like, if we were to just do pure quality, he doesn't get into the first 11. But for
functionality.
Balance purposes, like I don't. As much as I think Tillemans can slot into the Luiz kind of role, like very well. I think McGinn deserves to start the season. Do you know what I mean? I think he deserves to start the season. I would kind of rotate between Bailey, Diaby, Watkins, Ramsey, and Rodgers as the kind of those players like either in the second striker position, the left mid or the right mid position. Or I would play McGinn next to Kamara. Because as much as McGinn isn't as good there, I think if you do have like a player like Ramsey, you can kind of like rotate Ramsey and McGinn as well. But I don't think, I think the thing with McGinn, like when I advocate for him being in the team, it's less about ability and more about like chemistry. And obviously he's the captain.
That's fair.
I think as soon as you kind of take out your captain out of the first 11, obviously like that's your linchpin. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the manager's speaker. That's a conduit to the manager's tactic on the field. And I don't think Emery would have kept McGinn as captain if he didn't trust him to kind of, be that. But yeah, I agree. Like, I think we've talked about it before. Like, I am more than happy for McGinn to be upgraded on. But to me, it's not a difficult thing to do, but you're operating within a very kind of small margin to be able to upgrade a captain with someone who's going to come in instantly and play so well that it removes from the fact that you've taken your captain out for the second time in 3 years, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you just like, I like continuity in it. And I didn't want Miggs to lose the captaincy, I'll be real. And I think when McGinn got it, even I was like a bit like, oh, like, does this have longevity to it? Because when you appoint someone as captain, you're basically saying you're going to be the first name on the team sheet. Whether you like it or not, that's the first name on the team sheet. You have to put your captain there. But at the same time, Emery does his Spanish thing where he's like, oh, we got 5 captains. We got Martinez, we got McGinn, we got Watkins. I don't even think Watkins is a captain, is he? If it's like Carlos or something.
And Dougie was one, wasn't he, as well?
Dougie was one, yeah.
What about you, Reece? Who would your team be?
So same back 5. Same midfield too. I think Ramsey Rodgers is just.
It's hard.
I think that's
I can preface that. That's just me going off what we have available right now. I don't think Rodgers is that much better than Ramsey. I think Ramsey might slightly still be better, but it's pre-season and we'll see after pre-season. That was just
I just don't. I don't. As you said, Bailey, Diaby, Watkins, Rodgers. I don't know if we're ready for that with Kamara and Tillemans in the middle. I don't know. That just still feels too open defensively.
It would depend on opposition, I guess. I'm thinking I'm thinking like Ipswich at home, like one of them games where Kamara can tuck in even into right centre back and you can just push everyone on.
But even saying that though, Tillemans changed it for me in the 2 was when we played again the Emirates game. We played with McGinn and Tillemans in the middle of the pitch there. Diaby was on playing, Zaniolo was playing. I think Bailey came on, didn't he? So I think it was Diaby, Watkins, Zaniolo. Can't remember who else it was. But yeah, those were the 2 in the middle, McGinn and Tillemans. Okay, the first half went great, but the second half they dominated and in all aspects. So that to me kind of
Tillemans still needs
my doubt sometime.
I think Tillemans still needs to like. I wouldn't put too much faith in Tillemans.
That's my point.
I would like. I think.
I'm not there when people say he's better than Luiz. I don't think he's better than Luiz. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. I think people
recency bias thing.
Yeah, 100%. I think people like whenever like one player is not playing so well, everyone like backs up their understudy. They're like, oh, he's better. And if their understudy comes in and plays like a good game, everyone's gonna be like, oh, see, I told you so. Do you remember that age-old Buendia Coutinho scandal? When 1 week everyone's saying that Buendia is the best thing like ever, and the next week everyone's saying, well, that's Coutinho, and then like, no one can really decide. But that's one thing I think we need. I think we need a centre mid.
We need a centre mid. I still think we need a centre mid bad because Barrenechea, you can't expect anything from him just yet. Kamara's injured. That leaves Tillemans and who? McGinn.
But I think it's one of those where
Leander. Does Leander make it back in?
Get him out.
Don't even. That loan deal is one of the worst. Again, I've seen like I know people like being pedantic, but bro, Napoli didn't even include him in the Champions League squad. First red flag. 3 games he played off him. He's not increased his values, decreased it, and he's just back. And we probably could have done with him. Like I know that's hindsight, but we could have used it. It's a terrible loan. Like, send him to a team that's gonna buy him, man. Like Napoli, these clubs just use you, man. Like Napoli were never gonna buy Den Dunker.
Never. Offer him to like Ipswich. Do a Nakamba. Do you know what I mean? Like, just give
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's
Nakamba's
a good deal. Looking back on it, that was a good
Yeah,
deal. Well,
because they were gassing the Canberra from Championship, and then they went, oh, yo, no, you guys were right. He can't play in the Premier League. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when Lukonga started coming through. But yeah, we need. I don't know if I would trust Barrenechea yet, but obviously it's one of those things where if you bring in a centre mids, then where does Barrenechea kind of fit into it? But again, you want players to you want to say to Barrenechea, you want to be like, yo, there's 4 guys in front of you. Now get in front of each one of them like one by one. Do you know what I'm saying?
Realistically, if we treat McGinn as a right midfielder, which I think that is the case now, it's Tillemans, Kamara who's injured. It's Tillemans, isn't it? Who else is in midfield available? Now Dougie's gone, and then it's
Barkley.
Barkley. Oh yeah, Barkley.
Ross, man. I'm telling you, I think this guy's Luiz. Honestly, man, people are like, oh, we're gonna get even for depth. I think Barkley's the Luiz replacement, man.
Okay, so then a Barkley Tillemans midfield, is that what we're saying? A midfield to Barkley's and Tillemans. Yeah, so there's still a gap there.
That cannot happen.
Until Kamara's back, there's like, unless Enzo's the one, unless he's ready.
This is what TJ touched on, man. Like, Enzo's a risk. Like, if he lands, it's incredible, but like, man, the pressure, he's gonna need time. I'm not expecting Enzo to develop after 4 months. 4 months, I'd expect to see comfort, but it's gonna take time, man.
So who is that midfield? It's interesting. Who's that gonna be, or do we bring someone in?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, again, Barkley and Kamara seems quite balanced.
Yeah,
but
it's Kamara, isn't it?
I thought Barkley was incredible last season. I'll preface with that. I thought he was incredible. However, that Luton team to me was incredibly, what's the phrase for it? Environmentally focused. Do you know what I mean? I think, and I want him to prove me wrong, but I can't escape this, that Barkley was that good because he was put into the right environment. He was put on an underdog team. He was given literally like a blank platform. Rob Edwards said, you're our guy. We know you can work hard. We've got to build our midfield and our kind of like attacking progression through you. And I think Barkley suited that very, very well. I think he suited a team like Luton. My only question is, will we get at least 75% of the Barkley we got at Luton? And I really, really, really want to think that his form will carry on. But when I just look at the facts that we've had him before, he was good for 3-4 months and he disappeared. He obviously is like bounced around a lot. He's got a tendency to down tools if he's not really happy with a situation or whatever. So I just really, really hope that we get the right Ross Barkley, because I don't think we spent too much on him. I think 5 million is about fair.
It's about bang on, yeah.
Yeah, it's about fair. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would have liked like a 2 or 3 million, but at the end of the day, Luton, they didn't really need to sell, did they? And yeah, like I'm just kind of like, we've now, we've filled a roster spot. That's the way I look at it. Will he be able to make use of that roster spot?
Do you think Dougie, when he played for us, was given the keys?
Yes and no. I think when Kamara was there, he was given the keys. But I think when Kamara went out, Emery was like, yo, gotta need to like do a bit more. But yeah, I'd say not the keys, but I think Emery said to him, go show me what you got, rather than giving him very like pinpoint tactics.
Yeah. So I think that will be Barkley's role as well. I think that's how Emery will. I do think Barkley is kind of the Dougie replacement in that sense.
Do you know what? As long as he's good, I don't have an issue with it. But obviously, like, again, if I said to you this time last year, obviously he hasn't played at Luton yet. If I go, next season, we're going to replace Douglas Luiz for Ross Barkley, you'd be like, brother.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but obviously he's had the Luton season, which is up to his stock. But another thing I don't like is Luton just like flipped a mad profit because of us. That's pure profit, no?
I think so. He was a free, wasn't he?
Yeah, he got it for free.
I think, yeah. Because he went to Nice and he signed a permanent for Nice, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was like a pay-as-you-play sort of contract, because obviously
it might have been, yeah.
He went on loan from Chelsea and then it wasn't the best anyway. And then,
yeah. I don't know about Ross Barkley, but yeah, I'd like to see a centre mid. I'd like to see Baena. I think that'd be incredible.
I say this to my bro all the time.
But obviously I think he operates a bit further forward.
He does, yeah.
But yeah,
That's more than I like the player more than will it fit the transfer system and
how many Villarreal players are we
need.
going to get until we get a shit one? Do you know what I mean?
Oh. Could go 2 for 2 and then
or do you know what I'm saying?
Salsa and then Salsa.
Oh man, I don't even want to hear his name.
Ban him from here. But yeah, just your thoughts and do you think we need another CM?
Yeah, a CM that can play as an attacking midfielder as well. A hybrid player, but I've gone off Gallagher. Price. His reluctance to come to the Midlands, like safe, isn't it? Like, we're not begging for you to sign, isn't it? Like, I know our fan base aren't, so I've gone off Gallagher. Just seeing how he's come on in the England side as well. It's just, I don't know. Can we bring someone in that will raise the technical floor rather than someone that's just good at pressing? You know.
What about Amadou? Does he fit the profile?
Again, it's just this philosophy that I've got. Like, I don't think Villa should be spending like 50 mil on a Premier League play. I still don't see us as that club. I still would like us to be like just a bit smarter with it. I think Kepa and Foran would have been a good signing. Obviously, he's gone to Juventus, but I think that would have been a good signing. I think Koopmeiners, even like I said, I love their scouting. Like, I think he would have been a good signing as well.
Koopmeiners don't do it for me. I don't know what. Like, I've seen play a few times. I don't rate him.
He's an acquired taste. I'll be real. He's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
Do you know who's impressed me a lot? But you could argue he's almost a Kamara replacement. Shelton for the Netherlands in the Euros. He plays for
yeah.
I think Jody Shelton. I think he's gone back to PSV. Maybe, I don't know. But him and Reinders. Oh my god, those two are incredible footballers. Reinders at AC Milan. They're so good.
I'd never heard of Reinders until the start of last season, and I was like, "Yo, okay, like this kid can play."
I think a midfielder like him will be quality.
I think we need to shop in the Eredivisie. That's one thing, to be fair. I feel like Emery and Monchi don't really like kind of, like somewhere like the Eredivisie. Like, but I think there's like a lot of gems that like we could look at in that league, because if you're looking for technical ability, you're going to get that in Eredivisie. Like, they're like that whole Netherlands ethos is you need to know how to play football first, and then that's when you go and do the other stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Brighton have just signed Mats Wiefer from.
Yeah, that gone through now. Mats Wiefer.
Yeah, he looks like he's about to sign. So that's a decent.
Hatto was the centre back for Ajax, who was the one everyone's keeping.
Yeah, Hatto. Yeah. To be fair,
he looks.
Whoever gets that kid, and like he's like, he's different gravy. He's still a bit, he's got some stuff to learn. Again,
it's mad because we played against him, and then we played against Euro as well, and then the two next best thing. Euro's and next best thing as well, supposedly at centre back, and we played.
Well, Real Madrid and Liverpool.
Yeah. That's, do you know what? Like, speaking of Euro and Hato, that's one thing I just need to get off my chest. Our Europa Conference League run, just looking back on it, I've had just some time to mew on it.
Insane.
It was tough. Yeah, it was. No one will clap that. No one will say anything.
I hate how West Ham fans have been chatting shit. Like, it's not easy, is it? But it's like, come on, man. Don't compare apple and oranges. Like,
yeah, man. Like, just
because it was the same competition does not mean it was the same one.
Say what you want about Jordan Henderson. We came up against Jordan Henderson, Joao Felix in the round of 16, and then that Lille team. Genuinely, that Lille team
is class.
Again, in 10, 20 years' time, I'm going to be talking about Lille 23, 24, because I don't think I've seen us struggle like that in the Premier League, other than Etihad away and maybe Anfield away. But in the last couple of years, we've given like Liverpool a pretty good game at Anfield. They've just kind of blown us away by their individual quality. But that Lille second leg, even the first and second leg, I was like, yo, like, we're actually being played off the park.
That was one of the worst performances under Emery, I think.
Has Fonseca gone to AC Milan now? Has that happened?
Yeah.
And
so he got a move out of that season.
Yeah,
basically. So he's gone to AC because they can ball.
Yeah, based on what I saw with Lille, I hope that he brings the same thing to AC Milan, because it was just scary, like how the system just didn't rely on like one player. Their left back, like, is about to get his pension, and he was moving like prime Roberto Carlos.
That,
I was just
that
like,
was annoying me. Yeah, that was annoying me. I was like, how's this guy
playing?
I'm saying,
Thiago Santos, he looked a player.
oh man, every time he got the ball, I just like held my breath. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
and like they were up for it, man. Like they bullied us. Like,
do you know what the mad thing is? I still don't rate Jonathan David from that. So they were
I
all
don't
good,
rate
but
him.
I still don't think Jonathan David's a good player, and will
Chelsea
be a
looked
flop
at
in the
Jonathan
Prem.
David, I was just like, these guys might not know what they're doing. Like, they might actually just be freestyling. Because
I watched him again in the Copper, and I'm just like, no, he's just not it. Like, there's better Canadian players there.
I don't think he does it for many. Yeah, like I did what was Olympiacos? Who was the Olympiacos? I think I've just tried my hardest to forget his name.
Al Kabi, I'll never forget that. Al Kabi.
Who the? Can I swear on him?
Yeah, of course.
Who the fuck is that guy, bruv?
No idea. No idea,
bro. I swear, like his shot conversion rate, like even the shots that he was getting on target, like I think. Do you know what? I think part of it is like players from teams like Lille, Olympiacos. They come like and play Prem teams, and they're like, "Yo, like we want to prove to these English people that like we're not dickheads, innit?"
Yeah.
But like that El Karabi Don, I was like, "Yo, like you know them ones where you're looking at a player, you're like, why do I want to sign you? Like, why do I actually want to sign you? We don't need you, and you'll probably be awful for us."
And the best way to convince a Villa fan to sign is if you score against them. Like, there's people that are saying that give Archer. Well, there's people that are saying give Archer a chance just because he bagged for Sheffield United at Villa Park. Like, honestly, that's the best way to convince a Villa fan to sign. If you perform in sport, like you're gold, like you're set. People will warm to you.
Al Kabi got 4 out of 6 shots, wasn't he? I think he got 4 goals from 6 shots or something ridiculous like that. His conversion rate was just a joke. That's 66%.
Scary. I'll give it to Villa. Obviously, you could just tell how mentally tired we were at that point.
We were finished. Yeah.
We'd been stripped to the bone by injuries and like suspensions. Yeah. Like
going Champions League.
Those it became a chore like watching Villa on Sundays.
Yeah, because no Kamara. It was just no Kamara, man. Like it's just once you just like that Brighton away game. It's just like okay, let's just get over it. Like Man City, help us out, please. Like
yeah. Facts.
Yeah.
What I was going to ask, Kane Kessler Hayden getting a new deal. What did you not think of that? Because I thought personally he was going to get sold this window. That kind of threw me off a little bit.
I don't know, but is that to keep his value potentially? I don't know. Because
is it going to be another loan then, or
because he didn't really get minutes when he came back, did he? And I thought there was an opportunity to do that, especially the last game. He didn't start the last game, did he? Against Crystal Palace.
He came on, yeah, he came on.
Like, we've done everything this season. You'd think that's the opportunity to start him, and he never materialised. So I don't know. I don't know if he has a pathway here.
I don't see it, even with Costa. But I think it's another one again. Like if Cash goes, then that might be Kessler Hayden coming in to be a deputy to if we don't sign another right back, possibly that. But yeah, again, KKH. I kind of just need to see him play a bit more for me to kind of fully form an opinion on him.
And that's what I was going to say. Fair play. I don't know how he's done it, but Zaniolo's got to move to Atalanta. 6 million loan deal again. You know what, Munchie, man? Munchie, you look after your son, man. Like, that's all I'm going to say.
100.
Like, your son gets looked after. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is how it happens. One move to the Prem, it didn't matter how he did, and he can just secure that move to Italy.
He's gone back to Serie A. He's gone back to the Europa League winners.
Oh man, do you know what?
Yeah, that's a narrative next season. He's bagging against Villa after all my shit talk. He's 100%.
Of course, yeah, he will.
And he's going to celebrate like no one's business. knee slide into front flip into.
He's shushing. He shushed just when he was here, bro.
He's doing all of it. Speaking of seeing players play in the Champions League next season, I did just want to kind of ask you guys about like these ticket prices, because obviously I feel like you both go to more Villa games than me in it. But yeah, I think this is like a big thing in it, and I don't want to like touch on it too much because obviously time's been getting on. But like, as much as like good stuff is happening on the pitch at Villa, I'm just like, yo, like, what's going on? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a madness. And comparatively, go on, bro.
No, you go.
I was just saying, like, the rise in pricing and how everything's just escalated. Okay, the football has been top on the pitch for the position we've got to, but it just seems it's gone a bit excessive now, considering how much that relates to how sustainable the club is in terms of ticketing prices. That is not a massive factor in how to maintain a sustainable club. And they've just gone to the far end. Champions League football, that's it. We're going to charge above and beyond for you to attend those games, as well as standard Premier League matches as well. Yeah, I think it's a bit excessive, to be honest. And I understand why a lot of people are not happy about it.
Yeah, it's
just when I speak to people like with their families, and like a lot of people don't live in Birmingham, so it's the original cost with that. And then when I hear people saying that they have to cut back, I don't know, it's just a bit disheartening, man. Like the price has risen above inflation as well, so that argument is not really there. The price rises above inflation, and I get their strategies. We're not gonna attack the season ticket holders. That's only going to be a 5%. But in terms of match to match pricing, like you're going to have to pay the premium. And the fact there's only 2 categories as well doesn't give that much leverage for a massive decrease in price. Like the cheapest adult ticket's £44.50. It's a bit crazy. When you weigh up Birmingham wages compared to London wages,
that's the big thing as well. Yeah, like it's not understandable at times in London, but comparatively, it's Birmingham. It's not London. There's going to be a decrease in wages.
100%.
I don't know if that follows suit.
I like whenever I want to go watch Villa, like I need to commute from London, innit? So like train ticket, if I'm lucky, it'll be like 40, but most times it's like 70 quid. And obviously, like I need to get food when I'm in Brom because I'm going to be there for like a good 6-7 hours. Like I need to commute, like if I'm like traveling, like go see like my family and stuff. And I just see these ticket prices rising. I'm just like, I'm already like shelling out for your kits. Like I'm getting 3 kits a season, pretty much. Might get like a mug here and there. Do you know what I mean? I'm investing like a lot in Villa because obviously you guys are doing well, and then like you guys are just like upping these prices to like insane amounts. Like a lot of us like under 35s, like we like. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like if I took the price of my train up to Aston with the ticket, 2 games, I could go on an all-inclusive to Spain.
It's mad.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's just the family. I think the families that aren't season ticket holders are just getting hit a lot. Yeah, because in some areas, I've been speaking to people in some areas as well. There's no concessions, which means kids pay adult price in certain parts of the ground. Like, it's not, like obviously they have the under 18, under 14 concessions, but that's not the case for all stands. And I guess the argument is as well with some North Stand people that sit there, like they're not seeing the upgrade in facilities as well. Like they could probably stomach the price increase if they were seeing facilities upgraded, but they haven't seen it. So let's see, man.
Haven't they just changed?
I think it's a bit disheartening. I feel like the core fans can just be alienated a little bit, and it'll be interesting to see if it does sell out. Like people are saying, well, it's going to sell out anyway. I'm not so sure, you know. I'm not so sure. Especially when Wolves is a Category A game and like you got to pay £70 £70 for Wolves at home. Like
I'm not paying £70 for us to draw 2-2 at home to Wolves. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
I'll be interested to see if it does sell out. Like I don't know. I've seen Liverpool fans recently. They protested their ticket prices and it worked. Like the owners reduced them. So I don't buy into the thing like there's nothing you can do about it. So.
One thing about Villa fans, I don't think we'll ever protest because we're just too divided. Like genuinely, like I think with Liverpool fans, they've all got the same like common goal in it. Like you can kind of look at a lot of Liverpool fans and they've got like the same whatever. With Villa fans, you want to have the Villa fans that are like, FFP reasons, like we need to pay it in order for us to improve on the pitch. But I did a post the other day where I was like, at what point do we start to say, okay, cool, like you've improved on the pitch, like we've got Champions League, like why do we need to keep paying for it? And obviously, like Sawiris and Wes Edens, like they're billionaires, isn't it? Like as much money as they've put in, like they're billionaires. I think a lot of us, it's happening across the Premier League, isn't it? Where there is a certain section of fans that are just being priced out of going to watch football, and for a lot of fans, like I know so many fans where 5 days a week they're working a job that they hate. That's not really paying them that much, and all they look forward to is just going to the football on a Saturday or Sunday. Yeah. And like for a lot of men as well, especially Like that's their only kind of source of like that's the only environment where they can like be themselves. They can like shout, scream, cry, be emotional. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's the only environment where they're like, I can actually just show like a touch of like enthusiasm. And for clubs to turn around and be like, oh yeah, a couple of years ago you were paying £31 to go watch West Ham, but now you're going to be paying 70 quid to watch West Ham. I don't even know if West Ham are Cat A, but they might be Cat B. But even still, like 60 quid. I don't think it's fair, man. And like obviously prices around the ground are going up as well. Food's getting more expensive. Kits are increasing in pricing. The Adidas co-sign is obviously going to like that'll be like a 1 or 2% increase.
The kits are £80 plus.
I think I saw the kits 80, Authentics 110. I think they said so.
Like,
yeah, that's Adidas's part. Yeah, that's why it is with all clubs as well. It's like
it's crazy. Like I buy all my kits at the end of the season because I'm like that's the only time I'm actually going to be able to afford it. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's low,
yeah.
But I am going to be interested to see what these Champions League fight. Maybe if there's enough backlash, I don't know. But the Champions League fight,
I don't know because they did gauge it with the Conference League. They did gauge it in the end, and because I remember it was the Everton League Cup game, and the prices were like 40 odd pound, and it was like
they have shown they have listened to some
So they used their initiative there, but Champions League. Well, I think
I'm expecting crazy.
How much do you reckon? Like, because I normally sit in Upper Holt, like towards like the left of the.
Yeah, that's where our season.
That's where we are.
How much do you reckon is like a single ticket for a group stage?
So Champions League.
I think they're gonna go like 65. Honestly, 60. Like I think.
Okay. I can handle.
I think they're gonna be more. I can't lie.
I'm scared it's gonna be like 90 odd.
Yeah. No, I can't see that. I can't see that.
I hope not.
It depends on the team.
I hope they don't take the piss.
Because you know what? One thing like those first few Champions League games. Like I'm just a member and I don't have a season ticket. There's no reason for me to have a season ticket, but I'm going to go into that website knowing that those tickets for that first Champions League game are going to sell out within probably 2 minutes, right? So a lot of people, they're just going to stick 120 quid on a credit cards. They'll just have like 120 quid in like their account, and they'll just put their details in and they'll just pay. So if Villa really, really, really wanted to, they could just be like 85. Take it or leave it. If you don't buy it, the next person will.
Because there's 4 games. I think because it's a week apart, so like the parts are already split in terms of like team quality. I think they might do a category based on the 4 games. I don't know. There might be a Cat A, Cat B for the 4 games.
That's because it is into category of level of teams of opposition, isn't it? That is a good opinion. I just hope they don't make it ridiculous because obviously people want to go. People with families as well, man. That's a lot of money.
If I want to take my girl back to Villa Park, it's going to cost me like 140 to go see Wolves, and then another 140 for me and her train ticket. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I used to be like, when I used to get the under 23 tickets, like I just like there was £21.50.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I used to buy like 4 at a time. Because I'd be like, me, like one of my boys might want one. Let me just get one just in case. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when we're going to go see Villa Leeds, I think like one of Bielsa's last games at Villa Park, I'm pretty sure they reduced the prices. It was like £18 for a ticket that game because it was a midweek game as well. And now, like, 60, 70 quid. Like, that's London team prices. If I want to go watch Fulham at Craven Cottage, I'm paying 80 quid.
Yeah, their prices, their fans, even their fans complained, didn't they?
100%. Because that's when you're just going to start not getting like a lot of fans, like not a lot, but I reckon you're going to get at least 500 to 1,000 fans who are going to see these prices and they're going to go, do you know what? Let's just go.
I'm out.
I've seen it, bro. I've seen fans already saying like, I can't do this. Like
can't get season tickets, etc.
Let's go watch Solihull. Let's go watch Walsall instead. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I hear it.
Like, I don't blame them because, like, at the end of the day, like, you can just watch. Like, this is the thing for us London fans. Like, last season, I was priced out. I was like, I can't. When they raised the prices again, I was like, I can't really do that. And it's like Conference League probably isn't going to sway me. Obviously, Champions League is going to sway me. I'm going to be at that first Champions League game. I will pay. I will pay if they say it's 110. I'll pay 110.
Whatever it is.
No, I will just have to. But yeah, I think. It's sad that as good as we're getting, part of me as bad as it is, part of me does miss the championship games. Do you know what I mean? Like when you could just on the day just go
make
to
a
the
last minute
website
decision
and just be like, if you were bored on Saturday morning, if you had nothing planned, you'd be like, let me just go watch Villa Rotherham this afternoon. Do you know what I mean? Draw 3-3, but at least you're watching football, innit?
Yeah.
But
no,
now
I hear that. I do hear that.
If I want to watch Villa, I've got to put the ticket drop dates in my calendar so that I know when to go on the website and stuff. Like obviously for you, do you have to pay extra for Champions League games if you're season ticket holders?
No, it'd probably be less.
Do you think? I don't know.
But what would it be extra?
No, I mean like with your, do you get Champions League games?
No.
But that's what the argument makes no sense. Like it's based on Premier League alone. They scrapped the League Cup ticket as well, so they've taken that out.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Premier League form last season and this season, the points tally is 1 point different. So their argument for like performance level, they're using Champions League, but it doesn't include Champions League players. It's kind of like it's a sales pitch that's kind of, they're using like clever language. And okay, people will say Champions League players, but all I'm seeing so far is we've sold our best midfielder, so he's not really
100.
holding up, you know.
100%.
And the ticket and the tickets in general and ticketing, the overall percentage that bearing that has on running a football club is small.
How much is your season ticket? Like just ballpark. I don't need to like know the exact figure. Like
what were we this year? 800 ish.
And that's all up front.
No, you can do a split monthly or all up front. We've done.
Okay, that's not. I guess that's not too bad, but still 800.
So you can finance it, but it's still £800.
We're still looking average. Average is still like £42 a ticket, so it's not.
Which is
season
not
ticket
awful.
used to get a discount for like compared to the match by match, but it's literally what you're paying. The season ticket advantage now is that it's a guarantee kind of thing that you're paying for, whereas it used to be like you're getting a discount on average of what a ticket will cost for one, if that makes sense. But right now it's similar.
Jeez, I'm still on the season ticket waiting list. It's my third year now, and I'm probably still like 15,000th.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
But do you think if there is a dip, I don't know. They say the waiting list and how long people stick around. I'm not sure.
I'm saying this is what I'm saying. There's a big likelihood we don't get Champions League next season. Like, it's a risk. Like this whole thing saying momentum and like we're gonna just keep growing and growing and growing. I hope so, but there's no guarantee, man.
It's not a certainty. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Glad that you brought that up to cover as well. That was
because that was madness when I saw that online and just saw.
The fact that FSL company had to come out and say something, I was like, damn, that must be bad.
Oh, the football fans.
Yeah.
Do
you reckon Premier League would ever go close to the German model of things in the way of doing it? Or this is it?
No chance.
Because there's too much money.
I think like my hot take is that I think we're going to get a Super League way sooner than everyone thinks, I think. And I don't think it looks like teams leaving, but I think obviously they say that like business cycles normally last like 30 years before like as in like a business in year one, they'll have 1 year, but then by the 30th year, they'll either go bust or they'll promote themselves. And I think the Premier League is now reaching a bit of a time where it's like, okay, is there going to be like a sell-by date? If City win it again next season, I think a lot of teams, United, Arsenal, Liverpool, they're going to start saying to themselves, yo, we can't deal with these financial restrictions. We can't be asked with all these fan groups, like, up our ass being like, we need cheaper tickets. We don't want to be doing all this community stuff, blah, blah, blah. If we just go off and do our own league, we can play our games abroad. We can be making 10 times what we make now, because we're not binded by like the FA or UEFA. And I think there's just too many like American, I don't even want to pin it on American, too many like Western capitalist minded owners now for there not to be a time when they go, yeah, cool. Like the Premier League is
enough is enough.
The Premier League is too nice for us. And like Barcelona and Real Madrid, they said to the Prem teams, they're like, yo, we're here when you're ready. The Super League, like all that copyright stuff is still set up. It's still a thing. They didn't disband it. Like they just suspended it. Do you know what I mean? So like, I think the Super League is going to come soon. Like, anyone watching this, like, enjoy your football, like as a Premier League is now, because I don't think we're going to get the same Premier League by the time the 2020s are up.
True, and the Man City convictions and all that, wherever that goes in what direction, if they don't get suspended, if nothing happens, teams are gonna have enough of that, and
the state of football in this country is like I think Villa is like a very like good like example of like what being a football fan is like in this era, where in 2019 your team could be promoted, and then 5 years later you're playing Champions League football. Like that's the scary part. If we were in the Champions League 5 years ago, where are we going to be in 5 years' time?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't want to put all my eggs into one basket. And they are like, I think the Premier League just as a whole is pricing fans out. And I think at some point they're just going to be like, yo, Chelsea, we don't really want to be based in South West London anymore. We're going to play 3 games abroad in America. We're going to play 2 games in Saudi Arabia, and you guys are going to deal with it. But who knows, isn't it?
He's going to some other. There's talk again. I remember last season the talk again about franchising playing the 39th game abroad.
Well,
would you guys see in other sports? We've seen in other sports
Birmingham
as well.
City's owners has to play Wrexham.
Oh, yeah, to play Wrexham. Yeah, like that's crazy. Wild. That's why we see in other sports. You see basketball, see in the NFL. It's going to come to football at some point.
Would you guys, if Villa?
It's 100% comment. It's 100% comment.
Would that be like the threshold for you guys to kind of go, I'm not?
Yeah. I think that would be
if we started moving games abroad.
I think that would be it for me. Yeah, games abroad.
Yeah.
Where like I'd still watch the games. I still love Villa, but that would just.
It's just like
you have to take
turn
a step
me
back
a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think that's the one. Games abroad. I think that's the one for me.
I'm fine with like American owners. I'm fine with like. I'm not fine with it, but like, I've got a threshold to ticket prices and stuff like that. But as soon as I see Aston Villa versus Tottenham at the Michigan Big Bowl Stadium,
and I don't know what it is, but you just know we'd be the first team to go out there. You just know that they put us against they're putting us against a Tottenham, and we're just going over there, and you just know it's going to be us first. Like,
I was surprised that we were. Spurs played Newcastle at the end of the season in a friendly in Australia. I'm surprised we didn't do something like that.
That's how itching they are for it. They said we're not even going to leave it a week
in between the Euros and the season.
We need that income. That's how that's how hungry these owners are, man. And like I think that's got to be English football's biggest downfall is not having a German system implemented, because La Liga's been like La Liga for 50 years. All they know is Barca and Real Madrid, isn't it? Italy.
Their system is what Ineos, Ratcliffe's trying to bring into the Premier League, and he's got.
Well, the way Ratcliffe's talking, he's talking Big Six.
He's crazy. He's crazy.
That's how he's
trying
talking.
to say like United should have way more TV rights than it shouldn't be like a blanket.
Real Madrid.
He's trying to say the Real Madrid Barca model already. So I don't like Ratcliffe, man.
And he's going to say we need to have our games on MUTV. We don't want to have our games on the Premier League. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Manchester United TV is a channel on like everyone's digiboxes. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's Ratcliffe is like, that's the worst part about Ratcliffe, man. Like, you're British. You're supposed to understand.
Yeah, Ratcliffe's the worst for this league. I can tell. You can tell already.
United's like
the way he talks.
I would have preferred the Saudis, man. I would have like.
It probably would have been better for the league.
Yeah, but like now Ratcliffe's coming in, and you already got Ratcliffe, Kroenke. Obviously you got like the Qataris at City. Then you got Wes Edens. There's a lot of like American owners, and Wrexham. Oh god, if Wrexham enter the Premier League in the next 6 years, we're done for, man.
Like, I think it'll be close.
Like we're watching AFC Richmond. They'll hire an American gaffer and they'll make a series out of it.
Well, Wrexham League One now.
Yeah.
So Ipswich were League One two seasons ago.
Yeah, League One, to be fair, is insanely competitive this season. There's probably about 10 teams that could go up. But if Wrexham get, oh god, I don't even want to think about it. I ain't watched Ted Lasso. I ain't watching that shit. I ain't watched Welcome to Wrexham. I'm not watching that. As a wise man once said, enough of this wokeism in football. That's saying.
Big Sean.
Big Sean. Nah.
Right, I think we're going to wrap it up then. That's a great chat and just all things Villa, just talking football, man. We need to do this more often for sure, man.
100%, man.
Thank you for coming on, TJ.
No
Much
worries,
appreciated
guys.
as always, bro. And yeah, bro, thanks for joining us as well. As always, yeah, we'll have more content coming over the month before the season starts. Pre-season soon, Warsaw soon. So yeah, they'll be back into training, back into pre-season. And yeah, we'll be providing more content along those lines. Again, if you could like the stream, subscribe if you're new here, new watching. And yeah, guys, thanks for joining us and watching as well. Up the Villa as always, and catch you on the next show.